new Toyota Tacomas. Could it happen? Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. So no more new Toyota Tacomas. Could it really happen? You know, this is not a clickbait video. You know, recently, Toyota announced that they were going to cut production by 40%. That's almost half. Now, that was, probably 3 weeks, a month ago? Since then, just recently, like yesterday, I was told that Chevy, GM, is cutting truck production altogether. No more new trucks. They're canceling existing orders. So what does this mean for Toyota? Well, you know, there are only a handful of chip producers, and that's why. It's because of these microchips, right? They can't get them. There's a shortage, in case you haven't heard. And we all know that microchips, those little dinky things, are in everything. Cell phones, heck, even your refrigerator with its screen, everything has these chips in it. So it's a huge demand right now. Everybody out there is vying for chips, right? I'd hate to be the manufacturers when these do start to come back into stock and see what the prices are. The pricing on these chips has got to be going through the ceiling. We're going to pay that. You're going to see that in the form of price increases on our trucks. But does that mean we aren't going to get any more Toyota Tacomas? Well, all you have to do is go drive around and take a look on the lots. I went a couple of days ago, and it's as worse or as bad as I've seen it. It was like tumbleweeds blowing through the lot. I drove around, and all I could find, I think there were two new Tacomas, low trim level, and then some used ones. That's it. And it's funny, when you go to the dealerships now, they've got the trucks all lined up on the new side. You know, normally a dealership has the new inventory all out front, shined up for you to look at, and then the used stuff is off over there somewhere. Maybe even out in the back of the lot behind the building, who knows? Not anymore. When you go to the dealership, they've got all that used inventory sitting up there in front, displayed. I've even seen some in the showrooms. These are used trucks. So the dealerships obviously are hurting. They have to be hurting. That's why they're paying top dollar for cars and trucks right now. So given that Toyota has reduced production by 40%, you can imagine that the supply of Toyota Tacomas is going to become even worse, even more scarce. Now keep in mind, there's a period of time in between when they announce this to when it really takes hold. Probably about a month or so. And that's when, probably at the end of September or so, unless something drastically changes in the world of chip manufacturing, we're going to really start to see this take hold. If you think there's been a shortage of trucks before, just wait until about 2 or 3 weeks from now when it really starts to bite. You know, they can't sell them if they're not even producing them. It's going to be bad. So what do? Well, first of all, if it were me, especially given the prices and the dealership's reluctance to negotiate, I would probably wait if possible. You know, if your truck's not on its last leg and you don't have to run out and do anything right now, I would hold on to it for a while. You know, the opposite is kind of true too. If you've got more than one vehicle and you've got a decent Toyota Tacoma, now's a great time to sell it. In a lot of cases, people are getting more money than they even paid. Can you imagine? I don't know if that's ever happened broadly in the truck market. You know, trucks have always held their value well, but I don't believe that people have ever gotten more than they've paid, at least not generally across the board like it is right now. And of course that means that used prices to the buyer are going up as well. You know, I have been told that used Toyota Tacomas are going for as much as brand new ones, and sometimes even more. That's when you can find them. You know, one of the biggest problems that I see with this is even if they continue to trickle in, the selection is horrible. You can buy a base model, and if that satisfies your needs, hey, you're golden. You've got what you want. But if you're looking for something a little more with more options and things on it, you've probably got a problem because they don't exist. And even when they do, they're being sold before they even get delivered to the dealership. Now, I mentioned earlier, GM is cutting production altogether. In other words, they're stopping production on trucks altogether, and that's directly due to the chip shortage. Now, you've got to believe that this is going to be announced with Toyota soon as well. And the other thing to consider is the chips that they are getting are going to go in the more popular selling vehicles, right? I mean, I'm sure, and I know, the Toyota Tundra, for example, is not the #1 selling vehicle for Toyota. So you can imagine Toyota Tundra production is going to tank. What about the Tacoma? It is the #1 mid-size selling truck, and that's a good thing because that means that Toyota is not going to cut it completely like GM has done, even though they are number 3, I guess now. Recently, Ram overtook them for the #2 spot. But they've got other things to sell. They're no longer up there at the top of the heap, so they can afford to back off a little bit, concentrate more on the other vehicles they have that sell better. Too bad for the industry, really. I couldn't imagine being a car salesman or a dealership right now. I suppose if they've got a good inventory of decent used Tacomas, they're probably still doing all right because of the high demand for the Tacoma generally. But if you're trying to sell anything else, I would think you've got to be in a world of hurt right now. Could you imagine people come in to buy something and there's nothing on the lot? I had somebody leave a comment earlier this morning telling me that they went to the dealership and there were 2 cars on the lot. How in the world does a dealership stay in business with 2 cars on the lot to sell? Interestingly too, not a Toyota product, but the Jeep Gladiator. Somebody sent me a message and told me that there were 2 Jeep Gladiator Mojaves on the lot, and they're asking 70 grand plus a piece for them. Now, they've been sitting there for a while, but you know, if somebody wants one bad enough or they've got to have a vehicle, they're gonna sell. And in the end, that's pure profit for the dealership because they're not paying more money for those vehicles. They're paying the same price they always did and passing on the profit to us in the form of profit for them, that is. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Is it possible that we'll have no more new Tacomas for some period of time? I think it will, and I think probably it's going to be mid next year or so, I would guess, until things start to loosen up a little bit and these chip manufacturers start to get back online and back up to full capacity. Hopefully. Let me know what you think. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive FST, all about the equally scarce Toyota Tundra. And RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.